With a casual point of his finger, the young man instantly turned a bully into a young woman. Not only that, with a wave of his hand, he transformed a villain into a puppy, turned an empty soda can into a gold ingot, and even turned himself into a golden jade Buddha with a simple spin. It turned out that the young man was no ordinary person he had cultivated for 200 years. But just as he was overcoming a lightning tribulation to become immortal, he was suddenly struck down to Earth by an alien spaceship. As soon as he arrived on Earth, his landlord demanded rent. He began to suspect that this was why he failed to ascend. So, he started picking up scrap around town to pay up, and that's when he ran into his first love. The young man had always believed she had married a rich man, but to his surprise, she had given birth to a daughter, his daughter. She told him she had been pregnant when he abandoned her. Back then, her father had opposed their relationship and even angrily pulled out scissors. Realizing the danger, the young man ran off. Right at that moment, her debt collectors showed up. The woman instinctively pulled out the same pair of scissors, startling the collectors. They demanded the woman use her daughter to pay off the debt. The young man was confused. How could someone so rich be in debt? That's when the daughter revealed it was her grandfather who owed the money. The young man immediately stepped up, saying he'd repay it. The collectors laughed and said the debt was 80 million. The young man responded confidently. Hearing this, the woman told him to take their daughter and leave. The young man snatched the scissors from her and said they weren't even worth his attention. Just as the debt collectors were about to attack, the young man gave the attacker a single glance, turning him into a dog. The rest of the collectors were stunned, thinking they were hallucinating. The young man declared he had already become immortal, but the main collector still demanded repayment. The young man said such a small sum was nothing, he could pay it back in 3 days. Hearing that, the collector ran off holding the puppy. The daughter praised the young man, but the woman still didn't believe him and thought he was bluffing. The young man began to suspect his failed ascension was due to the mother and daughter, so he decided to treat them well. When the woman questioned him, he pulled out a soda can and transformed it into a gold ingot. But the woman still refused to believe him, so the young man kept showing off more magic. Even then, the woman thought it was just some kind of trick. Meanwhile, the debt collectors went to the hospital room of the woman's grandmother, demanding that her treatment money be used to pay the interest. The mother had no choice but to kneel and beg for a few more days. The woman soon rushed in, shoved the debt collector aside, and helped her mother up. When the collector insulted them, the woman slapped him and kicked him, only to be grabbed and humiliated. The mother could no longer bear it and struck back. As the debt collector was nearly suffocating, he snatched away the grandmother's oxygen tank and started using it himself, causing the elderly woman to run out of air. Just then, the young man arrived at the hospital room and saw the collector harassing them, so he turned one of them into a woman. The doctor rushed in and told them to take the old lady to the operating room. The debt collector suddenly grabbed the doctor and said he wanted a sex change operation. The doctor told him to go register first. To pay off the debt, the young man turned an apple into gold and offered it as a deposit. Realizing the young man's powers were real, the collector decided to report him to his boss. Meanwhile, in the operating room, the woman was crying as the doctor announced the grandmother's death, but the young man checked her pulse and said she wasn't fully gone yet, and he used his powers to revive the grandmother. After finishing everything, the young man vanished using magic. He thought that he had fulfilled his destiny, prepared to ascend to immortality again.